do is rev the tits off it. Yoo! That's going. Well, this is the part that I've been really looking forward to. Over the past few days, everything's been arriving. I've got my forks, which are unreal. They look great, I think, and I'm excited to get those on the bike. But the main thing I was waiting on to be able to assemble that was the triple clamps. Now, the triple clamps are from a local supplier here in Melbourne, actually, Jack's Garage. They do an amazing job. I had to get a local milling machine to modify the top triple clamp. Unfortunately, you can only get them in a 50mm and the top of my forks are 52. The only thing that I'm a little bit unsure of is whether or not I'll need spacing on the brake rotors. Now, the brake rotor obviously has to run true through the brake caliper, and the BMW R80 rim is a little bit narrower than most. I'm really stoked with the seat as well. That's just turned up, and I think it looks fantastic. I ordered that online. Took a little longer than I would like to get here, and that's been one concern of mine during this build, has been postage time. When you buy something international, you're obviously at the mercy of the handlers. The donor bike was pretty good. It had been dropped, so one brake lever was broken, but I was able to repurpose a lot of it, and it was off a Triumph Speed Triple, the 1050R, which is where I also got the Öhlins forks from. So I was pretty lucky that I was able to take off brakes and forks and a couple other things from that bike to repurpose them. I've also gone for the bar end mirrors. Again, it's for looks, probably not so much practicality, but hey, the Supercar doesn't have much visibility either. So those mirrors will look cool. They might not be the most practical, but they will look cool. And then to finish the bar ends, I've gone with the bar end indicators. I'm now into the exciting part of building and assembling the bike. Yeah, now it should all be plugged straight in. Now with those triple clamps, I'll be able to mount up the donor forks that I got off the other bike. Oop, are you filming this? That was meant to happen. I'm just gonna make sure I got the clip-on handlebars ready to go in as well, so that I can slide that up into the top triple clamp. There we go. Now what have I done with the Allen key? Damn it. There we go. I just want that sitting flush with the top. There you go, now that's secure in there. So the clip-on bars I'm gonna run right as high as I can go pretty much. I'll work out the ergonomics, I guess, at a later date. I'll nip them up now so they're just in a temporary position. They're obviously not gonna be wrong size. They're not gonna be exactly where they are now, but I can at least tighten those up. That looks cool, eh? This looks pretty rough now, but if this other performance shock that I ordered online doesn't turn up in time, then I'm gonna have to repurpose this, remount this. Won't be the end of the world. Is it on something? So I'm doing my best to repurpose everything I can really off of the donor bike. Nice to try and I guess save some cost along the way if we can. I'll just slide the grip on here. I'm not entirely sure how far I have to go just yet, so I'll just nip that up a little bit. I haven't decided yet whether I want under or over with the mirror, but I think under looks cooler. I swear I've spent half my time going back and forward with the wrong spanners. Cool thing is with these is they got the rubber on there, and then you push them in and just twist, and it will tighten the nut because the rubber will take up inside. And by twisting the nut, it expands, I guess it tightens itself and squishes the rubber, which tightens on the inside of the handlebar. Then you can twist it right up. We'll get Moto Gadget at the top so it looks better. And there we have it. What would go on first? Be the brake master cylinder, wouldn't it? This is the type of bike that I've just always wanted to have. And yeah, I think to do it myself as well, even though not necessarily fabricating a lot. I mean, I've only done one part of fabrication, but I feel like being able to buy the bits that I want to be on my bike and then put it together, it makes it so much cooler than just buying something off the shelf already assembled. Oh my God. I didn't put the clutch lever on. Dumbass. Fantastic. Put that all together. Looks pretty neat. I think even the mirror at the bottom is the way to go. Not really ideal for practicality, but it looks cool. Just had this awesome delivery to the shop. think it looks really cool. I've actually gone ahead and replaced the fuel filler cap as well. The old one had the key lock in there and it was actually broken, so I thought I'll ditch that, put the new one on. I want to go putting everything on that makes it look like a bike again because I'm just excited to see it, but I'll have to, yeah, I've got to wait. Curb my enthusiasm a little bit, but all in all, I mean, I'm pumped with what the guys came up with there. One thing that I didn't think about was the outer diameter of the old shaft that went through the old forks. Now, this shaft here is out of the old original R80 forks, and this has a 25mm diameter. I went to the trouble of replacing the bearings in the old wheels because they were a little bit shot, so I put new bearings in there with the internal diameter being 25mm. But the one thing that I didn't account for was that the new Öhlins forks would have a 20mm diameter shaft. So the bearings that I've gone and fitted, I've realised don't fit the new shaft out of the Öhlins, and I'm going to have to go to the trouble now of redoing the bearings. So I've gone and bought other bearings, so these brand new ones that I just had pressed in, I'll have to remove, replace with the 20mm ones, and go again. I started off using one of these, which look great in theory. The idea is that that goes inside the sleeve. You wind this down, open that up, and then it grips the inside of the bearing and removes it. Turns out it's rubbish. Doesn't work at all. Do not recommend these. Center punch and a hammer. That's the way to go. One thing I don't have is a bearing installation kit, so I'm going to have to make do with what I got. So a few days ago, I dropped the bike in at Motec, and today's the day where I'm picking it up. So I'm pretty pumped about that. Also brought in today the old tail light because he just wanted the connector off of it. And I brought in the new headlight as well because it's got a different connector. It's a 3-piece connector. I hadn't actually even taken the tail light and indicators off the back of it. I've actually just left it on there and brought the whole thing in. How'd you go?
We're getting there. It's all very work in progress still.
Dude, that looks so good.
You hear the relay click. Now the run switch will make the dash work. And so this has got the demo config in at the moment, so it'll do the full song and dance, so you'll see the shift lights go in a minute. And so we're going to do, which I'm already working on, a display creator project which has the Quad Lock logo in the screen. An alarm based on that.
I'm like so excited. Oh sweet, it is the same connector.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Holy, so it's very bright, it works.
If you pull the pass, it's actually both lights at once.
Oh, so it's like a flash.
Yeah,
I can put the general public under pressure.
Yeah, so if someone's going too slow,
yeah,
green typically page switching, and then red would be for your alarm acknowledge. So you see there it says no alarms. So that would be to, if an alarm appeared, you'd press that button, same as what you'd have configured in the Supercar.
What was the biggest challenge you found with putting it on an old bike? What were the?
Probably the biggest thing was just the lack of information on how they used to do things back in the day. It's you get so used to having wiring diagrams for new cars, and so on an older bike, particularly being that this one's history is a little bit weird in that it came from America, and so it's not an Australian market one necessarily, and so trying to find that stuff is not easy. The grip switches were quite a job, but it is much nicer having, you know, more modern stuff. You know, it ties in well with the theme that you're going for of, you know, kind of that old meets new thing.
Go a little bit further. Yep, so I've just unloaded the bike since getting it back. I've picked up the wheel spacers from my race team. They were kind enough to mill these out. I actually got Harley Davidson spacers, but they were 19mm internal diameter because I couldn't find 20. So I got them to just take those out on the lathe and make those the right length, which is 39mm and 20mm internal diameter. So that should fit. Everything so far has gone reasonably well, actually. No major hiccups. Just a few little things that probably wasn't aware of that were going to be issues or anything like that, or that I'd need to think about. But yeah, everything is good. I've actually switched from going a 2-into-1 brake line to just 2 brake lines, actually for simplicity for myself. So I got a double banjo bolt, which means that I can just hook 2 brake lines straight into the handlebars themselves, into the levers. But yeah, it's mainly just to try and make it easier on myself actually, rather than trying to work out where I want to position the 2-into-1 connector. Once I get this axle out, I can see if the space are correct, because it only needs to be 1 millimeter out and the brake pads will be rubbing on the discs, and they're not floating discs either, so it needs to be spot on really. So my engineer actually did this for me at the race team. He's nailed it. For some reason this side's a little bit tighter going on, but it's all good, it works. One. Beautiful, look at that. Nailed it. Well done, Krusty. While I'm sitting here with the lights on me, I'm realizing just how white my legs are in Melbourne's winter. It's actually terrible. It's like they're reflective tubes. I'm genuinely worried here, I'm nervous. Everything should fit, but I don't know. I'm a rookie, so who knows. Success, we're in. It's not rubbing on the caliper. It's got a slight touch on the pad. That's fine. I'm gonna make a quick trip to my race team and actually steal some of their equipment. I wanna make some brackets today. It's actually the last little touches. Bracket for the dash, and I'm relocating the ignition key and a couple of the buttons for the page on the dash. So yeah, I wanna go in and use some of their equipment and maybe steal some material as well. And get that done, and then I think it's almost ready for startup. I'll probably, while I'm there, put the tank on, put a little bit of fuel in and see if I can get the thing to start, and that way I'm surrounded by some pretty good mechanics if I need any help. Fuck. All right, we're all loaded up. We can hit the road. I'm just going to start by shaping this. So I've masked that. The idea is that it'll fit up in under the top triple clamp. Cut this off, and then I'm going to reuse this top part as a mount for the Motec bandsaw, I would say. Do you reckon I should cut this on the bandsaw, or is that too thick? Should I cut that on the bandsaw, do you reckon? I'm just going to cut this down to there. Yeah. This is Jared, by the way. This is our fabricator here at Team 18, absolute guru. It looks cooler than the, oh, big blade. You don't want to change them very frequently. Oh, perfect. Sweet. I'll get it done. In the background, you'll be able to see the race team's actually loading up for Tasmania. So that's my next Supercar event. We leave in just like 2 days, I think it is from now. It's all happening here. I'm thinking this could be a very wonky line. I've just done a mask line, and it's actually pretty good. Show you the evidence. Not bad. That'll work. Okay, bandsaw now. Now, we'll see if I screwed it up or not. That would be perfect. That way, for a start. But that would work perfectly. And then I'm just going to angle that up a little bit, and we'll be sweet. Actually pretty stoked with that. I think the way it's turned out is good. There's no sharp edges or anything, which will do for now. I'm just connecting the battery up so that I can power everything up. Then I'll pop the tank on, put a little bit of fuel in it, hook it all up, and see if she starts. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty nervous. I mean, I haven't done anything to the engine, so there's no reason why it shouldn't start, but I mean, it's an old bike, and when you don't run anything for a little while, has the potential that it's not going to start. Oh. There's a few little 1%ers that I want to do. I've got to put the seat back on, but I'm waiting until I get the tail light from Motec. Nothing really worth going crazy over, but just the little 1%ers that are left to make it look just perfect. And then we will get to work on finalizing this episode so that you guys can all watch it. This has been an amazing opportunity, one that I cannot thank Quadlock enough for. I'm very proud to have this running in the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride this weekend. I actually go to Tasmania, so unfortunately I wasn't able to do the ride in the end. It has been a surreal experience, one that has challenged me, but one I've thoroughly enjoyed and certainly want to do again. And next time, I really hope Supercars don't put a round in the calendar on the same weekend as the Gentleman's Ride, and I can participate. But it's been great to support the program, support Gentleman's Ride. If you can do it, get behind it, and if you can do it as well, get in the ride. So yeah, thanks very much, Quadlock. Thanks for tuning in. I got to get to work now and cut this episode up.